It's Mother's Day 2022 and Gail Patterson messages her daughter-in-law. They were the sort of messages we all send on holidays. Greetings and emojis and hugs and kisses.
Happy Mother's Day, Erin. May God bless you. Love, Don and Gail.
Thanks, Gail. Happy Mother's Day to the best mum-in-law anyone could ask for. Kiss, kiss, hug, hug.
Very kind of you. XO.
Today, though, these messages were read to the jury in the murder trial of Erin Patterson. It gave the court another insight into the relationship between her and the Patterson family. I'm Brooke Grebert-Craig, and this is The Mushroom Cook. We've just reached the end of week 5 of Erin Patterson's trial, and as always, I'm joined by court reporter Laura Placella.
Day 5 of week 5.
Today was a shorter than usual Friday in court. The jury really only heard evidence for 30 minutes today.
This is probably the shortest day of the trial so far in terms of how much evidence the jury has heard. They came in today at 11:30, keeping in mind that the court usually starts sitting at 10:30. So Justice Beale apologised when they all took their seats in the jury box. And he said there were still some matters that needed to be sorted out in the background. But he really empathised with them and said, you're probably getting frustrated sitting in the jury room, wondering when you're going to be brought into court. So he really thanked them for their patience.
Today, Detective Leading Senior Constable Stephen Eppenstall returned to the stand. This was his 4th day of giving evidence.
That's right, and it was his 2nd day of cross-examination. Defence Barrister Colin Mandy today brought Constable Eppingstall to signal messages, which he obtained as part of his investigation. And like you said at the top of the episode, Brooke, these messages were really speaking to the relationship in early 2022 between Erin and her estranged husband's parents, as well as the relationship that they had with Erin's children. I think it was for the first time today that we actually found out that Erin's children referred to Gail and Don as Nana and Papa. It has been a while though since we've spoken about the Patterson family tree. So just as a reminder, Erin and Simon permanently separated in 2015, but we've heard evidence in this case that they remained friends until late 2022.
Now let's speak about the messages. You heard one at the top of the episode about Mother's Day in May 2022. Here's another exchange from February that year. These are their words, but not their voices.
We can pick more books if he wants. Also, if he needs help in any subject I might have some competence in, I'm happy to provide it, probably using Jitsi.
I think he would absolutely love a Jitsi session for maths. They're working through algebra and he says it's one topic that he finds a little tricky. So he actually mentioned last night that he thought a Papa lesson on algebra would really help him about now.
After the tutoring session, there was another exchange between Erin and Don.
Thank you for the Jitsi with him. He said it was great and that you're really good at explaining maths, Papa.
No worries. He is a good student. A class full of students like him would be fun and rewarding.
I will just add that Don was a retired school teacher. And if anyone's wondering, I did have to Google it myself today. But Jitsi is a video conferencing app, just like Zoom.
Great, let's move on. Mr. Mandy also asked Constable Eppingstall about Erin's phone records. The jury has previously heard a SIM card ending in 835 was taken out of a tablet and placed into a phone dubbed Phone B. And this all happened on August 3, so this was 5 days after the lunch on July 29.
That's right, and this is the phone that Erin handed to police on August 5 when they were executing a search warrant at her home. Today, Constable Eppingstall was asked some questions about the records relating to Phone B. So these records showed that the text messages were received on August 4, so a day after the SIM was placed in, from apps including Australia Post, Centrelink, MyGov, Telstra, and even News Corp Australia, the publisher of this podcast. Constable Eppingstall agreed with Mr. Mandy that these text messages were consistent with a person changing their phone number and updating the apps on their phone. Mr. Mandy explained to the court that when a person downloads an app, they may be texted a security code from that app so they can set up their account. Constable Eppingstall told the court, If you were setting up a new phone, that's the type of thing I'd expect. And that was all the evidence that Constable Eppingstall gave today, but he is expected to return to the stand next week for further cross-examination. I don't think we've used the word informant in a few episodes, but that is the title that Constable Eppingstall has in this case, and it pretty much means he's the lead investigator. He was tasked with compiling the brief of evidence against Erin, a process that would have taken a number of months, after they first executed that search warrant on August 5. He's been sitting in court behind the prosecution team every single day of this trial, so our listeners will remember that in this case, Constable Eppingstall has been asked about everything from Erin's Booktopia receipts to footage from a Subway store to Erin's Woolworths transaction history. So there's been a whole range of topics.
Thanks so much, Laura. That's all for today. We know it was a shorter episode, but as we said, it was a shorter day in court. Stay tuned for our subscriber-only episode with veteran crime reporter Anthony Dowsley. That will be dropping on Sunday. This is a Herald Sun production for True Crime Australia. It's presented and reported by Brooke Grebert-Craig and Laura Placella. Reporting and presenting for our weekend subscriber-only shows by Anthony Dowsley. Our executive producer is Jordy Atkinson. The Mushroom Cook is produced, written and edited by Jonty Burton.